How's everyone doing on this Sunday?
I don't think so.
What's going on, cousins? So, yeah, I was on
That's what people keep telling
TikTok.
me.
I was on TikTok, and I guess it was like a panel or somebody was doing like a talk
It'll
show.
be 91
You know
in
how
May.
like people be having people do like little talk shows, and this girl, this lady, was like, "Do you know why I stayed in this relationship?" And then she like, "You really want to know the truth? Because if I really tell the truth, like, you're going to be mad." She was like, "You really want to know the truth?" And she said, "I stayed in a relationship because I see my mother stay and my mother never left." So meaning, what I got out of that was that, and I 100% agree with her, because as a kid, as a kid, when you see your parents or your mom or your dad going through domestic violence, right? Going through abuse, and your mom never leave, your dad never leave, or they separate, then they come back, you know what I'm saying? As a kid, as you start getting older as a kid and you start dating, now you,
Yes, certainly.
excuse me, you going through stuff that your parents was going through, domestic violence,
Actually,
abuse, and then
why am I
you think
looking
that it's
ahead of
okay
me?
for a man to beat on you, for a man
Just freshly turned.
to be in a to be in a domestic violent relationship, and you think that's love because you seen your parents dealing with domestic violence, and that was their love of being in a domestic violence relationship. That was your father way of like, "Oh, I love you, baby," beat on her, he love her. And I actually felt what that girl was coming from, because I feel like as a kid, when you grow up and you see your parents in a domestic violent relationship, or you see your father beating up on your mother or any female, as a kid, you grow up doing the same thing. Because I feel like men that beat on females seen their father beating up on their mother or other female.
Here we are.
Then I also feel like females
Queen
that
Mary,
don't leave
Isaiah.
domestic violent
Today,
relationships, they only stay because they see their mother
daughter of destiny.
being in a domestic violent relationship and their mother stayed thinking that was love. And that's a really true topic. We witness what we see as kids and we manipulate it as we get older. And I'm here to say, I watched my mother in a domestic violence relationship. I watched her literally get beaten on, yelled at, hurt.
The towels
She lost her
close.
toe, her
Mary,
arm got broke.
clean the
So
towels.
I really understand what that means. Because as a kid, I grew up thinking that if a man beat on me, he loves me. If a man gives me money, he loves me. Hi, tubers, 9-3. And as a mother and as a father, we have to teach our kids that domestic violence is not the key. Domestic violence is not the key. It would never solve anything. It would never make nothing better. And because I witnessed that with my mother being in a domestic violence relationship, my first relationship wasn't domestic violence. He was more like I was in love with him, but I had lost the love and my trust for him when he allowed his friend to
Really,
essay me, right?
after
Then my second relationship, I lost respect for him because he started beating on me. right? But I still stayed because I was young, I was homeless, I had two babies, I had nowhere to go. I started losing respect for him because he essayed me and his brother essayed me, right? Then my third relationship, I stayed. He wasn't a bad guy, but the only thing that I wish I would have was paying more attention because I was trying to figure out how we was dating, sleeping on my mother's floor, but he was out there cheating, making other kids. So my last relationship, I stayed in it for like maybe 17 years. 17 years I stayed in that relationship, right? And when I say domestic violence is real because not only was he beating on me, he was like, I love you. I don't want to lose you. And I just kept going back, kept going back, kept going back. Till one day I had to call one of my a family member, and a family member had to come to my house with another family member to put him in place. Hello? To put him in place, like, yo, don't you ever put your hands on her, da da da. I'm saying this to be saying is that domestic violence is real, and we have to learn to walk away when something is not healthy or something is not right. Even because I feel like if a person love you, they're gonna respect you. Why are you sitting up here yelling at me? You know what I'm saying? And why are you sitting up here disrespecting me in front of my kids or my child? You feel what I'm saying? And that's the thing that we need to look at. And we need, hi, happy Sunday, everyone. We need to remind ourselves, as a woman, you are beautiful. Any man that beats on you do not need to be there. Men too. Because people don't talk about it. Men deal with domestic violence too. Men deal with so much that they don't speak upon it because they are afraid to be judged. But when I seen that little series on TikTok, and she was like, "Oh, you want to know the truth?" She said, "I stayed because my mother never left," and that hit me like, "Wow, that's some true ish right there." And that's why a lot of us females are laying in a casket right now because we don't know how to leave a domestic violence relationship. We watched our parents go through domestic violence, so now we going through domestic violence. But it's this problem is that with this generation, these men are taking us out. You feel what I'm saying? And that's sad. That's why, like, I try not to go through nothing in front of my kids because I don't want my kids to see what I'm going through in my relationship. Then they grow up and they feel though like it's okay because let me be honest with you. Hand me the scissors. All of my kids' father is from the streets. They all about the streets. Now and I have two daughters and I realize my two daughters are following my same footsteps. When I say they following my same footsteps, I mean they like the hood niggas. They like the niggas that's in the streets. They like the niggas that's on the corner. They like the niggas, that's into the streets. Like, and I never wanted that for my daughters, but I never paid attention to what was really going on. Like, as a parent, you never want your child to experience what you have experienced. But you also gotta let your kids learn about life. Because kids feel as though if you tell them don't do this or don't date this person, don't date that person, they think like, oh, was she telling me what to do for? She did it. Why can't I do it? Da da da. So now I realize you have to let these kids learn for themselves. BLP dash FSA H33. If you died today, would you go to heaven? Can I ask a question? And I'm being honest, because I really don't know. Is it a heaven? Is it a heaven? Will we die? Like, do we go to heaven or do we go to hell when we die? Because I don't know. I don't know. Where do we really go when we leave this earth is the question. To be sure of your salvation and that you will make it into heaven, believe in your heart that Jesus Christ died and rose again for your sins, then you say at the age of 47, I really want to know, is it a heaven or is it a hell? I'm really curious because I know a lot of people that say things and we believe everything that people say and we keep it in our head for the rest of our life. But if it's a heaven, I'm going to heaven. If it's a hell, I'm going to hell. But I don't think it's a heaven or hell. And I would really like to know, like, where do we go when we leave this earth? But yes, a lot of men don't speak up on domestic violence. A lot of men is out here being molested. A lot of men out here is being essayed. And just as we women want that support and help, men need it too. Men need it too. But we have to raise our kids. I don't care what you see me do growing up. Like, I tell my daughters all the time, like, you is too beautiful to be worrying about some one nigga. If he did you wrong, if he disrespected you, move on. You're not obligated to stay with nobody. You're not obligated to love nobody. You're not obligated to be nobody girl. If you ain't got a ring on your finger, you don't owe nobody nothing. I tell my daughters they is beautiful all the time. And I be like, man, if I felt beautiful, I don't think I would have dealt with half of the stuff that I dealt with in life because my self-esteem was low. My self-esteem was very low. I was picked on. I was bullied. I was name called. I was essayed. I was molested. I was raped. Like, I went through a lot as a as a kid, as an adult, as a teenager. This is why I tell my daughters, like, y'all be burnt out over one person. Move around. It's somebody out there that's gonna make you happy, and somebody out there that wants to be with you. Someone out there that's gonna love you. Someone out there that's gonna respect you, and that's just true facts. But we need to. I think as females, we judgmental when it comes back to the men. Men suffer in silence too. Men deal with rape, molestation, domestic violence. Men deal with so much that we females deal with that they don't have nobody that they could talk to because they are afraid. And we as females get mad at the men and then we want to bring up what had happened to them, and that's wrong. Everybody should get treated equally. We all have been through some trauma in our life. And if you haven't been to no trauma in your life, may God bless you. Because what I have been through in my 40 years of living on this earth, I would never ever wish it on nobody. Never. Never. Because do you know how it feels to be essayed and abused and people want you to be quiet about it? And I feel like that's only in the black community. The black community don't want you to say nothing that's been going on in the household. Nothing that's going on in the family. They don't want nobody to know nothing. They want to make it seem like the family is so good. The family is so happy. We this big happy family. And what I noticed as I got older, now that I'm 47, we had to start protecting the rapists, uncles, aunts, cousins, nephews, nieces, fathers, stepfather. We had to stop protecting them and protecting our kids because we had these kids. These kids didn't ask to be here. You feel what I'm saying? And we had to stop telling these kids, don't say nothing if something happened to you. No, tell. If something happened to you, tell. This how I feel. And I know this with a lot of molesters that's out here. They quick and heavy to tell us if you say something, I'm going to harm your family. Listen, I'm ready for you to go ahead and harm my family because why do excuse me, why do I have to carry this burden, this pain, this hurt for the rest of my life? Then I gotta see you for the rest of my life. Nah, it's not real. And what I noticed that a lot of females are so into dating and want all this attention and all these men, but not watching y'all kids. Watch your kids. Watch who you have your kids around. Watch who you have babysit your kids. Because let me tell you something. Everybody is not a good friend, mother, father, grandmother, stepfather. Why protect your kids? Do you know how that makes you feel as a child being molested, being raped? Do you know how that makes you feel as a child? Do you? Because me, when I was going through that stuff, being raped and molested, I had nobody. I was made to be a liar. And at the age of 47, I can't wait to get to the Karamo show and to expose everybody. I can't wait to get my book published because we all are going through the same thing in life. Just because we all not black and we all different races doesn't mean that we not all suffering. I'm from New Jersey. We all are going through something in life. Mentally, when you being bruised, it will mess up your mental. You know how you gotta deal with that all your life. You gotta go to therapy. You gotta go to counseling. You gotta go get help. And I notice like a lot of people don't want to talk about their abuse in their essay, but you gotta talk about it because your story going to save somebody else's child. Your story might save your own child. We gotta just stop because I notice like it's a lot of females that I notice that I see that got kids and they just be having anybody around their kids. Kids walking around the house with little shorts on and all the stuff like that. That's not cool. Like me, now that I have granddaughters, I'm so protected over my granddaughters. Like I don't even play that. Like for real, for real. Like don't even play with me because I know what I had went through, and I know what I'm dealing with at the age of 47. So like I don't play that. Where y'all from? When y'all come in, just come and say hi. Let me know where y'all from. Like, comment, subscribe. Help me get to 100 subscribers. I really, really, really appreciate it because this is how I would be supporting my family. But yes. And then people wonder why people out there prostituting, people on drugs, people doing all this stuff. But nobody never really sat down with us and be like, how are you doing? What you been through? You know what I'm saying? What's your story? Because if I don't know nothing, I know one thing for sure. We all got a story. You know what I'm saying? And I always felt like I don't care who you is, you shouldn't be touching on a child. Not when it's like mad people out in the streets, prostitutes and all that in the streets. So like, why is you sitting up here touching on kids? Like, but that's just the world that we live in. The black community don't want nobody to know nothing. They don't want nobody to know what's going on in the household. And then it be the ones that you thought that would protect you and love you, be the ones out here touching on you. What?
No way.
Like life be life, and I'm telling y'all, teach your kids to speak up. Teach your kids no means no. Teach your kids, even if somebody say they're gonna harm you, they still need to tell. Cause no child shouldn't have to walk around feeling like that. And I know people do that. They trying to
Right
give you
here?
money for silence. They trying to give you candy for silence.
No, just out of state. Yeah, I'm going to Ashford.
We have to protect
Oh.
our kids.
Never
But
been to Ashford?
how are my nieces and nephews doing them that's on the front line? Did y'all call them today? Did y'all check up on them? How was y'all Sunday today? Y'all Sunday good? Who cooked? What y'all cook?
Oh, it's my favorite.
What y'all cook today?
So
But I'm telling y'all, protect them kids. Protect them grandkids. If you ain't never protect your own child, protect your grandkids if you got grandkids. And stop being blind. Stop thinking that, oh, it happened to me. It can't happen to my kids. It could. Especially if you're not paying attention to your child and you just got your child everywhere. And stop letting them kids stay the night at everybody's house. Yes, as a mother, we need a break. Yes, as a mother, we need a break. But as a mother, we also don't need our kids to be traumatized because it's not worth it. It's not worth it, y'all. On that note, enjoy your Sunday. God's willing, I'll chat with y'all tomorrow. Love you.